Up next, we have Esports One, and we have Sharon Winter presenting on stage, who's the COO and co-founder of Esports One. Esports One is focused on a very specific niche, which is fantasy sports within the esports context. Everybody knows about how much esports has taken over the world during times of words that we will not mention. But that being said, Sharon, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I am Sharon. I'm actually really excited to be here. I think the energy today, both from the hosts, from the panel, and actually from all the people presenting has been really fun. So welcome to the fun show. Yeah, seriously. Well, I'm Sharon Winter. I'm COO and co-founder of Esports One. A little bit about myself. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I went to Carnegie Mellon University, studying industrial design and robotics and human-computer interaction, which all kind of comes into play with what we're building here at Esports One. And my expertise is in building data-driven companies that have a focus on community and really kind of tapping the audience, how to bring together the audience. And yeah. So also, I'm wearing a Discord hoodie instead of a jersey, and that is because we are gamers. And Discord is almost a sport of its own to us. Discord is a chat tool, and you actually brought up in your presentation earlier as one of the largest funded orgs, right? I forget what category, but it was only one in esports up on your list, which was really cool. And so go esports. So who we are? So we're Esports One, and we're an all-in-one fantasy esports platform. We utilize proprietary tech and player performance database that we built ourselves using computer vision. And our goal is to build the real-time competitive viewing experience that is separate from the game publishers in the form of fantasy. So right now, there's a serious problem in esports. The game publishers aren't putting enough emphasis or focus on actually making the stats and data public, and they're not building APIs all the time so that we can access it and third-party developers can actually build on top of it. We wanted to make sure that anything we build was independent of the game publishers and actually wasn't reliant on them. Right now, basically, your options are manual input, so that means you're watching a match and you're writing down by hand what is happening in the match in order to record the stats. Or there's a few game titles that have some APIs, but only one really has a good real-time API. But all the rest you can't really build for. So we wanted to make sure to tackle that problem first and foremost, and we have. So we created our own independence from the game publisher using computer vision, machine learning, and then we even took it a step further and built out reinforcement learning for a set of game titles. So we actually currently support using computer vision. We're able to read everything happening on stream and on screen. And from there, we can actually insight we need, and we've been able to build out a extensive, the most comprehensive esports stats database on player performance. And we're also able to record in real time what's happening and create real-time insights on that as well. Our tech is built entirely out of our PhD engineers out of Caltech and MIT. And we've been diving into building out reinforcement learning for these titles as well, which is what we'll dive into with our fantasy platform and helps fuel our fantasy platform.
I'm going to jump straight into a couple of questions. Maybe go Tim first. I know Stadia has a few investments within esports already. Maybe you have a question for Sharon?
Yeah, Sharon, love what you're doing. As far as competitive landscape, I mean, who would you say is the closest competitors to you? And then more importantly is how are you differentiating yourselves?
So there's a few players in the traditional sports space. What's unique about our platform is we're just focusing on esports and all the game titles. And we're not seeing any of the other players kind of dive it like that. What's really important to note about the gaming industry specifically, gamers you can't just take a fantasy football, template, which is what we're kind of saying, fantasy football template, slap some esports titles to it and call it a day. That's why it hasn't stuck to date. it really is a different experience for gamers. Gamers are actually also playing the games. Unlike in football, where you have people just watching, they've maybe never touched a football once in their lives. In gaming, over 90% of viewers are also players. And so we want to give a more competitive, real-time hold, like you are immersed in the experience, and make it as close to the game as possible. So in our actual platform, I don't show it here, we've picked parts of the actual game title and built features that are specific to that, and we will do so for every single game we support. For League of Legends, you're able to pick a champion and make predictions based off of, or just not like, yeah, choose the champion you think each player will be selecting in their game.
But Sharon, I have time for one question. I don't know, Anton, do you have one?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Sharon, for the presentation. Do you have this rolled out, the fantasy game, for several games of esports, or is it based on one? And what's the roadmap where you're going with that in terms of different sports within esports?
Great. Great question. So right now we just support League of Legends. We're rolling out a few more titles this year as well. But this is as far as the fantasy platform and what you can play with. So right now you can play League of Legends, and a few more titles are coming. Those titles will be dictated both by our technology. Our technology supports 3 major titles, and we're working to support 3 other major titles right now. So there'll be 6 titles to choose from in order to expand into those games that will fuel it. And also we're really listening to the community. So we actually have a live roadmap that is public, where we have the community voting for the next titles they want, the next features they want, and everything we're building is 50-50. 50% what our direction, or what we believe the direction in the future of fantasy sports is, and the fantasy and competitive viewership is, and then 50% what the community is telling us that they want on our live voting roadmap.
Perfect. Makes a lot of sense. Listen to your audience, as they always say. Thanks so much for that, Sharon.